Most people are taught this rule like it's sacred: diversify, spread your money everywhere, reduce risk. And yet, the families who've stayed wealthy for centuries don't actually follow that rule the way you're taught. Not because they're reckless, not because they're ignorant, but because they're playing a completely different game. Here's the uncomfortable truth most finance advice won't tell you. Old money doesn't diversify for safety, they concentrate for control. And once you understand why, you can't unsee it. Let's start with the myth. Modern diversification advice was designed for people who sell their labor for income. People whose wealth depends on salaries, bonuses, and markets they don't control. If your only asset is your paycheck, spreading risk makes sense. You can't afford a single point of failure. But old money families aren't trying to protect income. They're trying to protect power. Power over assets, power over decisions, power over time. And power doesn't come from owning a little bit of everything. It comes from owning enough of something that you matter. Old money understands a rule most people never learn. The biggest risk isn't volatility. The biggest risk is dependence. If your wealth depends on financial products you don't control, mutual funds, retirement accounts, index portfolios, you are dependent on institutions, managers, policies, and rules that can change overnight. That's not safety. That's fragility disguised as prudence. So what do old money families do instead? They concentrate into durable assets. Assets that don't disappear when narratives change. Assets that produce value regardless of market sentiment. Assets that can be influenced, defended, and passed down. Land, operating businesses, private ownership stakes, infrastructure, royalties, real assets with cash flow and legal protection. They don't ask, how do I smooth returns this year? They ask, what still exists 50 years from now? And this is where most people get confused. They hear concentration and think reckless betting. That's not what old money does. They concentrate after deep understanding. They spend decades inside a single domain. They learn the regulations, the leverage points, the cycles. They know where risk actually lives, not where charts suggest it does. When you control the asset, volatility becomes noise. When you don't control the asset, volatility becomes terror. This is why old money portfolios look undiversified on paper. Because diversification is not their primary defense mechanism. Control is. Think about it. A family that owns farmland doesn't care about quarterly drawdowns. A family that owns a shipping business doesn't panic over market corrections. A family that controls an operating company adjusts prices, expenses, and strategy in real time. They can respond. Most investors can't. That's the difference. Modern investors are taught to outsource thinking. Old money is taught to internalize responsibility. Here's another hard truth. Financial products are optimized for liquidity, not permanence. They're easy to buy, easy to sell, easy to manage, and easy to lose conviction in. Old money doesn't want easy exits. They want assets that are hard to abandon because those are the ones that survive boredom, fear, and fashion. Diversification, as it's commonly taught, is a psychological crutch. It's designed to help people sleep at night while owning things they don't understand. Old money would rather understand fewer things deeply than pretend to understand many things shallowly. That's why they often look concentrated. But they're diversified in a different way, not across tickers, across time, across legal structures, across generations, across systems. They might own one business, but that business owns land, contracts, pricing power, and relationships. That's real diversification. Now, here's the part no one likes hearing. Most people don't diversify because it's optimal. They diversify because they're uncertain about their skills, uncertain about their judgment, uncertain about their staying power. Old money trains certainty slowly. They don't chase opportunity. They wait until opportunity comes to them. Because when you control assets long enough, optionality appears. This doesn't mean diversification is useless. It means it's misunderstood. Diversification is a tool, not a virtue, and tools depend on context. If you're building capital, diversification can protect you while you learn. But if your goal is legacy, influence, and durability, at some point, spreading thin becomes a liability. Old money families know when to stop diversifying. That's the real skill. They know when concentration stops being risk and starts being leverage. And that line is invisible to people who only look at spreadsheets. So the next time you hear someone repeat the mantra, just diversify, ask yourself a better question. Diversify for what purpose? Safety today or control tomorrow? Because the families that stay wealthy don't just own assets, they own outcomes. And that changes everything. Once you understand the pattern behind wealth, the noise becomes irrelevant. If that way of thinking appeals to you, consider subscribing. Until next time.